coming on in just a second. Don't you worry. Woof. I've been waiting up here ready to go. I had enough time. I could have walked to West Philadelphia and back. And in the time it would have taken to walk to West Philadelphia and back, the 76ers still might not have scored enough points to come back in this one, as the Blazers absolutely took it to them. Took one good third quarter, and that was all she wrote, as the Blazers grab a 135-118 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. Welcome in to the fifth quarter after dark. It's like the Pac-12 after dark. Crazy things happen here. We're having fun as the Blazers dominated and took down the 76ers. I don't care that Joel Embiid wasn't there. I don't care that Paul George is out. All I care is that the Blazers looked good. A couple guys had some career nights. Denny Avdia was back. Everything was coming up Rip City. Or coming up Millhouse. Simpsons references. That's what you get here. Beautiful game. Beautiful night. And if you want to talk about it, grab your phone. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. 88528 is the text line. Or, of course, you can head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. Look at this. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me on this camera, and you can see that I have two box scores in my hand. Why do I have two box scores? Is because one of them is the first half box score. And that's a good box score to look at. Portland was outscored 31-29 in the first quarter. They tried to bounce back. They did outscore the 76ers in the second, 35-34. It was 64-65 in favor of Philly at halftime. And that's why I grabbed this particular box score, just to look at that. 65-64. Toumani Camara was hot. He had 17 points at the half, 10 points from Jeremy Grant, 10 points from Denny Avdia, 16 points apiece from Kelly Oubre Jr. and Tyrese Maxey. And I remember walking down the media room because, go down there, grab a quick snack and a drink during halftime with Travis Demers. And Travis says, got ourselves a game. I said, yeah, we do. Good basketball game. And then in the third quarter, the Blazers laid it on. They outscored the 76ers 49-22. Let me say that again. 49-22. Just one heck of a quarter from the Trailblazers. And that was it. That was it. Game was done. Fourth quarter, yes, Philadelphia outscored them 31-22, but there was a 5.5, 6-minute stretch where you had Young Hansen in there, you had Javonte Cook. It was the end of the bench guys. So I'll take that all night long. It was beautiful to see the Blazers just put one away. We've been talking about this all year long, needing to slam the door. It's been a big topic of conversation over the last two games. Slam the door shut. Don't give them a chance at all. Well, in the third quarter, they slammed the door hard in Philadelphia's face. That 49-point third quarter, the highest scoring third quarter of the season by a wide margin, because the second highest scoring third quarter of the season is 39 points. That was back on the 22nd of January against Miami. In fact, that 49-point quarter is the highest scoring single quarter of the season. Also, the biggest point differential of any quarter, where they outscored Philadelphia by 27 points. Taking a look at the final box score in this one, that is box score number 2 of my 2 box scores, and that is the one that matters. Points in the paint was even, 46-46. What did we talk about in the pregame show, though? We talked about being aggressive on the glass, getting those second chance points. Portland did. They had 30 second chance points on 20 offensive rebounds. On the glass, they were absolutely incredible in this one, beating Philadelphia 51-33, exactly what you needed. Portland had 18 turnovers. A couple of those were in that fourth quarter, though, and it was some of those end-of-the-bench guys, so I'm not too worried about that one in the least. You could look at, obviously, Drew Holiday had 2 of them in the fourth, and, again, he was running with the full second unit. Ryan Rupert had one. Javante Cook had one. Young Hansen had one. That was the fourth quarter in and of itself. Overall, Blazers had 5 in the first quarter. In that third quarter, they had 2. They really locked in on that side, and then defensively they were great, and that was why they were able to get that massive performance in that third quarter. It's just, can you say? I mean, a 49-22 quarter is not something you see very often. Taking a look at the individual box scores, the 76ers, they had their balance. Every single starter in double figures, led by 30 points from Tyrese Maxey, 11 apiece from VJ Edgecombe and Andre Drummond. Trendon Watford, Trailblazer legend, had 12 points. Kelly Oubre Jr. had 19. 12 points from Justin Edwards and 10 points from Morjan Beaucamp. And he almost put Young Hansen in a body bag on a poster. Ended up getting called for a foul. Shot didn't go in, but he wanted to make a statement, and he almost did. On the Trailblazers side of things, Toumani Camara, absolutely incredible night. I want to point out that Toumani Camara had 3 turnovers in this game, and that was more turnovers than he had missed shots. And I'm not upset that he had 3 turnovers, but he was 10 of 12 on the night, 8 of 10 from beyond the arc, a career high in 3-point makes, 30 points, a career high for Toumani Camara. He also had 3 rebounds and an assist, 15 points from Jeremy Grant, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 block shots from Donovan Clingan, 13 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, excuse me. Let's try this again. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Drew Holiday. In his return, Deni Avdija, very, very nonchalant, has a casual triple-double, 26 points, 10 rebounds, and I guess near triple-double, 8 assists. He was so close. They were trying to get it to him, but man, when he comes in, misses a few games, and has a quiet game like that, I looked over to Demarang, who was sitting next to me. I'm like, you're good. When you are just playing so quiet that you're barely paying attention, you look down, you almost have a triple-double. That was Deni Avdija. That was nice to see. 5 points from Vit Krejci. Scoot Henderson, 12 points, 7 assists. And I'm going to tell you what, the offense just looks good right now when he's on the floor. And I tweeted about this too. One of my favorite parts of Scoot Henderson's game right now is the fact that he gets more excited. Watch him. Just pay attention to how he plays. He gets more excited when he gets an assist than he does when he gets a bucket. And that says something about a guy like Scoot Henderson. I just love the fact that that's what excites him. He had a couple of alley-oops, and he jumped up, and it was just so much energy. That's a fun player. Like, you could tell that getting others involved and being part of that is something that absolutely gets him going. Gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Once again, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. 88528 is the text line. And heading over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat, where I'll take a look over there in just a second. Catching up on some text here. One of our texters, awesome game from the Blazers. Toumani was never missing. Nice to see a mostly healthy squad. Deni was back to full power. Love to see it. Absolutely. Yes, you do. Camara needs to wear the headband every game from now on. He channeled his inner Super Cena today. Yeah, he did. We say you can't see Deni when he gets the triple-doubles, or the N1s, but apparently defenses couldn't see Toumani Camara tonight either. He was on a heater. He was absolutely awesome. And then, of course, we got fans chiming in for our friend Patrick, who spent a lot of money to go buy a Philadelphia 76ers hat and jersey and, wristband and a Joel Embiid fan club sticker on the back of his car, just to look cool and pretend to be a 76er fan for a day, just to come and watch them lose. That's what happens. Another one of our commenters, every time I see Hansen play, it gets worse. He's not a project they should continue with. Well, I'm not too upset when he has bad nights. We're talking about a dude who's not even old enough to drink yet, trying to acclimate to a lot going on here. Language barrier, which he's getting better at, speed of the game, which is super fast, and the fact that when you don't get a lot of runs, it's hard to get in a rhythm. I'm not out on a guy who's played about as many games as I can count using both my hands. I'm not too worried there. I would definitely like to see more from him, though. I will give you that. Taking a look at the YouTube chat, there's a lot to catch up on. First off, my man Han in King City's in the chat. Always good to see one of the OG YouTube chatters in there. And he's when he started off the chat with, all we care about is Denny is back and playing like the all-star that he is, that's the case. He's an all-star. He's earned it. And that is one thing that is great about him. It goes back to something I said a little bit earlier, and that was just the fact that he can miss these games and come in. You're like, oh, I hope he still has it. It wasn't just like, flash in the pan. And nope, he still has it. This is his game. This is his game. And one thing that's going to be better as this team moves forward, too, is as they continue to stay healthy, is you got Scoot Henderson, who can push the tempo. Drew plays slow but can push it in space when he wants to. I think part of the reason Toumani Camara was so good today offensively was the fact that this offensively from him was a different game than you have seen over the last 50 when all these guys were hurt. Why? Because how many times was the ball in his hands asking him to create? The answer is it wasn't. He was catching passes, taking shots. Very few times did he have to dribble and create a little space. A lot of catch and shoots. Not wasting as much energy on that end, which allowed him to have what I thought was a really, really good defensive game against Tyrese Maxey. Oh, but Chris, Tyrese Maxey scored 30 points. A, not all of them were being guarded by Toumani Camara. And B, he's Tyrese freaking Maxey. Put anyone else on him, he was dropping 60 tonight. He was hot. He was on fire. So I like the defense we got from Toumani Camara. And if you can continue to have these games where he doesn't have to expend a ton of effort offensively to have an impact, it'll lead to better defense on the other end. As I mentioned, our friend Patrick, he's in the chat. He's upset. He paid all this money just to see his best friend Joel Embiid. He wasn't even here. Joel Embiid dodging Donovan Clingan, ducking Donovan Clingan, just like my friend Timmy dodges playing any user game in college football 26. If you know, you know. PDX Golf Pro says Denny Loki almost got a triple-double. That's the thing. That's the crazy part about the performance from him tonight, is the fact that he almost got a triple-double, and you almost kind of forgot he was even playing at times. Like, oh, yeah, Danny's back. That's cool. Put the ball in his hands, just right to the rim, scores a bucket, and one, go to the free throw line, do your thing. Like, it was more like, oh, it's nice to have him back. He'll score a few points. No, I mean, just didn't skip a beat, right back to it. Got a near triple-double. And back to my point I was trying to make, too, is like when you get him and you get Scoot, you can make sure that offense is just always humming, always moving fast, always finding the space, always just pushing the tempo. Both those guys will drive to the rim, kick out, find an open guy. There was times that, Denny and Scoot had a couple assists that were almost assists. We don't count those, but if you would have counted all the potential assists, they had a few. Vít Krejci missed a couple, and then Jeremy Grant missed a couple. All that is what it is. They're good open shots. You're going to make some, you're going to miss some, but you got to give credit to Denny and Scoot for finding the open guys. That's exactly what you want from those guys. When you have a full complement like they have now, and as full as it can get without without Damian Lillard. But now you have Denny, and you have Drew, and you have Scoot, and you have your guys that can handle the ball. It's so incredible how much better the offense looks. You don't have to put it into his hand. Granted, he wasn't healthy, but you don't have to put it in Shaedon Sharp's hand. You don't have to have Blake Wesley try to be mega point guard, even though he's only played a handful of games. But you get what I'm saying. You have guys you trust. This is your job. Go control the offense. Love to see it. Love to see it. Patrick is trying to find his excuse as to why the 76ers lost today. He says, Maxey was the only one who came to play today. That's not the case. Like I said, you had 6 guys in double figures. Kelly Oubre had a good game, 12 points from Trendon Watford. You had guys who were filling it up. Big thing for Philadelphia, they got beat up on the glass massively, and that was it really. Their 3-point percentage was 36%. Which hurt them just a little bit, especially when Portland shot so hot. But when you can go out there and dominate on the offensive glass and get those second chance points, it's going to lead to wins. It's going to lead to wins. PDX Golf Pro says, nice seeing Trendon doing well on his new team. Always great to see those ex-Blazers. He was out there. Unfortunately, Jabari Walker wasn't dressed for this one, but he was in the arena too. There was a cool little moment where he and Scoot shared a nice little handshake. And I'm not talking like just come up and handshake, like it was like, secret handshake. Good to see that. Obviously, well respected. Got a lot of friends and teammates still on the team. And yeah, Trendon Watford, seeing him excel too is great. You get those injuries, he gets an opportunity, and in Portland he was up and down, and then he goes to Brooklyn for a hot minute, and he's trying to find his role and doing the best he can with it, and that's exactly what he needs to do, and you love to see it. I think Trendon, when he was here, was one that was definitely easy to root for. I think he also understood that you kind of probably had a ceiling with him, and he's out that ceiling with Philly too, but he's just making the most of it and taking advantage of it, and you love to see that from Trendon Watford. Nice, got a nice little ovation from Blazer fans too. Speaking of like former Blazers coming into town, what a last 3 days it has been, right? You had Scottie Pippen at the first Grizzlies game, got a massive ovation. You had Zebo at the second Grizzlies game, and Buck Williams was there too, but they didn't put him on the board. He was just behind the scenes most of the night, but he was sitting out the courtside today, so they put him on the video board. So you got Buck Williams back today too. 3 straight games, 3 straight victories, 3 straight Blazers legends in the house. So when they come back home after this quick 2-game trip and the All-Star break, what legend's going to be returning for that game? Because that might be the recipe to winning. All right, this is the fifth quarter. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can hit us up on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, or, of course, 88528. Hit us up on the text line. We're going to take a quick break. Plenty more coming up. We got our drive of the night, shot of the night, coach's corner, and a game ball to hand out all here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. That'll be the debate when we come back to the radio show. What former Blazer to bring back? Sabas, the Vanilla Gorilla. Could be some fun ones. Like who would get the biggest ovation? Put Brandon Roy out there. We'll talk about it. What's more likely? Jeremy plays Beyond Pi Day, or the Blazers make it to the Western Conference Finals. Most likely, Jeremy plays Beyond Pi Day. 3.14. Western Conference Final run would be pretty sweet, though. Especially. No, you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah, definitely Grant plays. LaMarcus Aldridge. Weldon, like, that's not a bad point. I would actually love for LaMarcus Aldridge to come back. Kind of the same reason, like, Greg Oden. Like, I was really, really happy when he came back and Rip City really kind of gave him lots of love. I think that was really good for him. I think it helped heal a lot of wounds because that guy didn't want that career to go the way it did and feels bad about it. Thought that was wonderful that Portland showed him some love. I think LaMarcus, the way he left still hurt people, but at the same time, he's like on the Mount Rushmore of Blazers. He's one of the greatest of all time. And he has run there as one of the best power forwards in the game and rep the pinwheel while doing it. I'd love to show him some respect. I think on that same note, like, I think if you had Iron Man sitting at courtside, he'd get a pretty massive ovation. You just put him up on the big screen and just hit that Iron Man intro. Burr, 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 burr. Oh, yeah. Dave Twardzik would, yeah. Get the OGs up in here. It's a different time. This is a different time. I mean, there was stuff behind the scenes that LaMarcus is not blameless for, but you know, time heals all wounds. And I was never mad at LaMarcus for leaving. I can understand why you want to go to Texas, be back home, and maybe stuff behind the scenes kind of push you out, but he's still one of the greatest Blazers. See, Mighty Mouse did come back this year when they had the 1999-2000 playoff team come in. We did see Mighty Mouse. Got a big ovation, too. I loved Mighty Mouse. She's been back. Wait. How much longer we got, Shaq? Copy. Got about a minute back to radio. We'll get into this debate. What if, if Chris Dudley comes back, promises they'll stay. Maybe they sign, the paperwork to get the funding for the arena right there at center court. Oh. Troutlaw, yep. Rod Strickland, Walt Williams, Kelvin Cato, there's a name. Jared Jack, Rudy Fernandez, and Sergio Rodriguez. It's a good list. Copy. Be back in just a few seconds.
Rip City Radio.
Now the drive underneath, challenges Klingon. Klingon blocks it. Grant picks it up and gives it up to Scoot. Looks behind him and now takes it across. The lob to Klingon and the dunk. It is beautiful to see those two hooking up.
Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can follow the show at Rip City Radio on all your social platforms. You can join the show tonight. 88528 is the text line, or head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio as well, where we had a good debate going on during the break there, because I had mentioned in the last three games, you had Scottie Pippen, you had Buck Williams, you had Zach Randolph in the house, and that's pretty awesome, right? You get a little bit of Blazer legends coming in. Blazers 3-0 in that time span. So I kind of jokingly asked, post All-Star break, the next home game for this team is not until Friday, February 20th against the Denver Nuggets, a one-game homestand. Weird little trip here. They get the next few games are on the road at Minnesota, on the road at Utah. That's Wednesday, Thursday. Then you get to All-Star weekend. You come back, play your next game Friday at home. Then you go back on the road for one game at Phoenix. Home for one game against Minnesota. And then a 5-game road trip this season. Go to Chicago, Charlotte, Atlanta, Memphis, and Houston. So between now and March 8th, their next decent homestand, they have 2-3 home games. So yeah, it's going to be a rough one here. Of course, you got the All-Star break. But I joked about, that December or February 20th game, who's going to be the Trailblazers legend who shows up? Because, again, you got Scottie, you had Zebo, and you had Buck Williams. So people were chiming off in the chat. Travis Outlaw, Joel Prisbilla, Brandon Roy. Got a couple people say Mighty Mouse, can't count him because he's already been back this year. Got a massive ovation. LaMarcus Aldridge, which I'm a fan of. Understand that the way he went out didn't feel the best. People didn't like that, but he's still a Trailblazers legend. Steve Blake would probably get a pretty good ovation. I think if you put Wesley Matthews on the big screen down there sitting courtside, the place would go nuts. I saw some people chime in. Derek Anderson. Timmy was just trying to name every single random but awesome Blazer in one post. Walt Williams, Kelvin Cato, Derek Anderson, Jared Jack. Bring back Sergio Rodriguez and Rudy Fernandez. That'd be pretty awesome. Rasheed Wallace, he's been back before too. That'd be great. I love Sheed. Still one of my favorite players of all time. Probably my favorite basketball player of all time. I absolutely love Rasheed Wallace. But yeah, Joel Prisbilla is one who'd probably blow the roof off. People loved that guy. Ed Davis. Put Ed Davis courtside for one game. That'd probably be a pretty good ovation too. Could go down the list of just all the guys. Yeah, bring back Sabas. It's another recommendation. Oh yeah, there's some classic all-time Blazers. Classic all-time Blazers. One of our texters asked, "Does Caleb Love have a future with the Trailblazers?" And I think the answer to that is yes. But I think the answer is yes, but not necessarily right now. Because he's got the two-way deal. They're going to try to balance it out the best they can. They don't have roster spots. I still think they're playing him to the bitter end, so I still think that they're going to eventually find a spot for City Sissoko. Your candidates, I think, at this point are like Chris Murray and Matisse Thybulle to free up a roster spot. I just don't see them necessarily going into a situation where they feel that they have to cut two guys to bring Caleb Love in. Now, I think not being active today pushes his deadline now to like February 24th. And so do you make moves to have him on your roster for a year? Or, for a month? I think you go into the offseason and see what you got because you don't know if Blake Wesley's back and what other moves you have. I think there is a future. I just don't necessarily know if it's right now. I think definitely City Sissoko is the one they want to try to lock in, but you're definitely going to see them manage these two-way days the best they can, maybe get some run with the Rip City remix. I don't think the team's going to just willingly just let him walk away with it out at least trying earnestly to have him here. He's been great and he's earned a chance, but it's going to be really interesting to see what they do just because when you don't have the roster spots, it's not as simple as just, okay, you're cut, you're signed. You got to worry about your tax implications, where your money comes from. There's a lot there, which is why people were asking me, like with Matisse Thybulle, would it be a buyout or would it be a straight waive? And the buyout makes sense because you can save a little bit of money. Okay, take 80% of what we owe you the rest of the way. That helps us get on the back end, save a little money, and sign City Sissoko. Now, Alex in the chat with his alias, Cut Murray, we know you're going to say that. He's not a fan of Chris Murray. PDX Golf Pro says, word is they are trying to buy out Tease. And that is the word I've heard. I think he's more of a candidate. I think they're really kind of looking into what his future is. Obviously, the injury part is part of that. But I know that the front office does really like him. And if they can get him on the cheap in free agency and he wants to come back, that's a relationship that they value. And I don't think he's going to get his $11 and $10 million type deal. He's probably getting like a 4 or 5. So we'll see what happens there. I just know, Caleb Love is not necessarily the candidate to come in right now. I still think City Sissoko will be locked up at some point here in the next week just because he's been playing great and they got to get him on the court. But when this team's fully healthy, let's be honest for a second, when this team is healthy as it is right now, then it's not as pressing as it was 2 weeks ago. Because you have Blake Wesley, you have Denny, you have Scoot. If you get Sharp back in the next week, you have your rotations there. You have Jeremy Grant, you have DC, you have Robert Williams. What if Matisse comes back? Like if Matisse comes back healthy and you can play him the rest of the year, or Chris Murray, back's feeling better. Where do they sit on the hierarchy there? So it's just not as pressing to sign those two guys now as it was, again, 2 weeks ago. It does not change the fact that they've absolutely earned the opportunity to put pen to paper and get full-time NBA-level jobs. They've been so good this year, all things considered. We'll see where they go because that's the biggest hang-up is Portland wants them. Portland doesn't have the roster spot. How do they get that roster spot now in a post-deadline world? One of those things that it's easy enough to do, but it still has to make sense on some level. Back to players that would love to come back. Darius Miles, a little bop. I always loved it. I did that when I'd run free runs at the rec. You hit a bucket and do the Darius Miles head bop. I'm trying to think some other just Blazer legends that they just showed up. You would just absolutely lose your mind. Oh my gosh! I can't believe he's back here. This is so good. I do want to give Timmy credit for a Calvin Cato and a Walt Williams drop. Walt Williams rocking the knee-high socks. Nick Van Exel had a fun little run here. Theo Ratliff I liked. Ooh, you know who would get a decent pop? I think Marcus Camby would get a decent pop. I liked Marcus Camby. He was fun. Wonder how many Blazer fans in this building would remember Juan Dixon. He was fun for a minute. But yeah, Bonzi Wells would get a pop. But again, you had the 99-2000 team come in, so they're off the board. They're off the board. Zebo was great. Like I said, get LaMarcus back. Throw Rolo down there for a game. He would get a pop. Theo Ratliff. I loved Theo Ratliff coming over from the team they just beat tonight, the 76ers. I also liked Dale Davis. Dale Davis, I think, is underappreciated just because he's attached to the Jermaine O'Neal deal, and everyone's still upset that Jermaine O'Neal went off and became a stud. But Dale Davis, I enjoyed. Air Weldon says Fred Jones, hey, bring back those OSAA connections. Barlow Bruin / Oregon Duck / Indiana Pacer dunk contest champion. Fred Jones was awesome. Fred Jones was at the state championship basketball game last year, too. Because who was in that game? The Barlow Bruins. Who won that game? The Barlow Bruins. So, yeah, Dale Davis was great. Sebastian Telfair. Telfair was, there was a lot of pub on that guy. A lot of people wanted him to be awesome. Unfortunately, it didn't work. But, yeah, we're going to have to make the Mount Rushmore of former Blazers. Not the Mount Rushmore of all-time greatest Blazers, just like a Mount Rushmore, if you will. A Hall of Fame with Blazer players who you'd go geek over if they showed up and came back. And you know Sabas is like near the top of that list. That guy's he's a goat. An absolute goat. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to head to the coach's corner. We're also going to hand out a game ball, put a bow on this one, get ready for a little bit of rest before we hit the road. 2 more games before All-Star break where everybody gets to hit that reset button and have a nice little time. But before we go to break, it's time for your shot of the night.
Live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. Time for the fifth quarter shot of the night on your home of the Portland Trailblazers. 620 Rip City Radio.
61-59. Holiday gives it up to Williams. Kicks it out. Grant wide open 3 for the lead. Got it! Blazers come back from down 10, and they lead at 62-61.
It's going to be a double shot.
That's no good. Holiday right there for the rebound up top. Jeremy Grant wide open 3-pointer. Got it. Ties it at 67. Jeremy's got 13.
Holiday kept the play alive with the offensive rebound.
The purr of a new engine. That new car.
All right, we'll stay in here on the commercial break here. Gerald Wallace was great. He was fun to have for a little bit. Ended up leading you to Dame. Okay, here we go. Chat, I got one for you. I got one that would get a pop and would also prove like your true Blazer fandom. Joel Freeland. I need to see the YouTube chat pop off. Tell me if I'm on to something. Sam Bowie, come on, Sean. Blazer fans are still scarred by that. Give me Joel Freeland. Brian Skinner. Just going down the list now. Sergey Monia. Early 2000s Blazers. Does Dan Dickow move the needle? Rafe LaFrance. Oh, man. Trying to see what else we got here. Nope. Gosh, sometimes you forget some people played here. Josh McRoberts. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, what about Victor Kriapa? Bring Victor Kriapa. Ike Diagu. Jared Bayless. Brandon Roy would get such a pop. Oh, my gosh. Still think Marcus Camby's a good one on that list. Ooh, Andre Miller. Saw him sitting courtside. People would geek on that. Right, Gerald Wallace. God, Gerald Wallace was awesome. Johnny Flynn, I remember that. Jamal Crawford, he was here with the NBA on NBC broadcast. Oh my gosh, Sheem the Beat. Elliot Williams, gosh, if that guy's legs didn't betray him. Oh. Victor Kriapa, deep cut. Cash consideration sitting courtside at the game tonight. Oh. Chris Kaman was legendary. I liked J.J. Hickson. That's another one that I liked when he was here. Ed Davis. I think of the list we're making, though. Prisbilla would get a big ovation. Camby, Ed Davis. I think Steve Blake is universally loved because he came back like 100 times because he loved the city so much. You're like, yeah, we like you. You like us. We like you too. How can we not? Oh no. Wake back up. Rod Strickland. God, Buck Williams is so good too. Copy. Gosh, too bad Uncle Cliffy ain't around still. He'd get a massive pop. What a legend he was. Man, this is a fun game. Now you just get to go down the list of like random Blazers. Bring back Gary Trent Sr. Isaiah Ryder. Bring Chris Burkhardt. Come on, Wichita. I'm here all the time, and nobody cares except Patrick, who asked for my autograph today. Who did that? I got you. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We were still talking during the break of Blazers you would love to come back now since Scottie Pippen, Buck Williams, and Zach Randolph have been here over the last 3 games. And we were talking about Joel Prisbilla, and Marcus in the YouTube chat just basically hit the nail on the head. Because we all love Joel Prisbilla, and he said, it would be great to get a photo with Kling Kong and the Vanilla Gorilla. Yes. Like that is something in this world that needs to happen. Kling Kong and the Vanilla Gorilla together, just hamming it up. 2 just giant monsters of men with nicknames that just kind of equal greatness. I like what you're laying down, Marcus. Thank you for that. But you heard the intro. It's time now to head to the coach's corner. Let's hear from head coach Tiago Splitter.
I think we took care of the ball. Only 2 turnovers. Money, Jeremy, DC, Rob, Drew. I think it was a great defensive quarter out there. Of course, Too Money made 8 threes, career high, 30 points. So it helps when you make a lot of shots and you don't turn over the ball and give them layups. So. That was the key there, 49-22 in the third.
How easier is life for this team when Denny suits up and plays?
I mean, Denny, I didn't expect him to be this aggressive after being for a while out. I thought that he was good. He was aggressive. He was, moving on defense, rebounding. So happy with just the shape that he came back and the mind of attacking the rim again and being aggressive out there.
What does he do for the offensive movement, though, and the energy, do you think?
I think, again, he was. We had a fast team in the court with Danny, Drew kicking out, Scoot, So the speed just helped us to get to our spots, and they had to shrink. And, of course, we made a shot. So, but Danny just brings that energy once he gets the ball. He hits the turbo, and they had to shrink. If not, it's a layup or open three. So it was good to see that group playing. That was kind of like the type of basketball that we envisioned from the beginning of the season, to be honest.
You kind of alluded to it, but I think this is the first game where you had Denny and Drew and Scoot and Rob all together. So is that the style of play? You kind of mentioned it, that you want this team to play when everyone is ready to go and available.
Yeah, all of them can push. Whoever gets it or DC grabs the rebound and pass the ball, they can push and be aggressive and attack the paint. So it was good to see, that aggressiveness, getting to the paint and spraying the ball out, being, stay connected on offense and pass the ball to each other. What we got? 35 assists. So I think it was one of the best games we had, just sharing the ball and looking for shots.
What did you see out of Toumani beyond just his hot shooting?
Sorry, say that again?
What did you see out of Toumani beyond just his hot shooting?
I mean, we know he's a good shooter. Of course, you go through some slumps, and I think tonight he was feeling good. He was not thinking too much. Not we don't like when he jabs and shoots it. Just go there and let it fly. Even though tonight I think he made a couple of those where he jabbed and shot the ball. But, just a great night for him, and defensively and offensively.
What do you think of how Scoot played tonight?
I think he was solid. Of course, he was also, maybe he didn't have the same touches, but he was pushing the ball and got a couple free throws there. Was aggressive, smart, passing the ball around, finding teammates. I think it was good.
Who is the MVP tonight for the Trailblazers? It's time for Game Balls on Fifth Quarter, live from the Coors Light Studios. Coors Light, choose chill.
To the court to compete for his third three-point shooting contest as part of NBA All-Star Saturday. And the weekend concludes Sunday, February 15th, the 75th NBA All-Star Game, where Denny Avdia will make his All-Star Game debut as part of Team World.
There you go. You hear a little soundbite there, courtesy of Michael Shacker before the game. Mark Mason announcing the Blazers All-Star reps for this coming All-Star weekend. Obviously, you'll have Young Hansen and Donovan Clingan in the Rising Stars, and you'll have Damian Lillard, a surprise entrant into the three-point contest, and then Denny Avdia repping the Blazers in his first All-Star game. File it under. You'll love to see it. Much deserved, and it is time for the game ball, and I got to give it to Denny Avdia, just like I do to everyone else who comes out and has been out for a little bit and comes back from injury. Comes out here, has a nonchalant triple-double almost. I mean, he finished 2 assists shy of it, and if he, stayed in the fourth quarter, probably would have got it. And then, of course, this is also the type of game where I can't just give it to one. I got to give 2, because how can you not give 1 to 2? I got to give 2 game balls because 2 deserves 1. Career high 30 points, career high 8 makes from beyond the arc. That is wonderful. I need more of that in my life. I need more of that. That's absolutely awesome. Marcus says they need to roll Dame out to the three-point contest, strapped to a dolly with the Hannibal mask on. That would be a vibe. That would definitely be a vibe. It would be kind of funny. And he's going to go out there. He's going to have fun. Like, here's the thing. Like, people are worried about him getting hurt. Or anything. It's like, no, he can stand and shoot. He can move and shoot. He's just not going through full contact and full speed. And you don't have to be at full speed to do the three-point contest. I saw him going through his normal warm-up routine this morning, or before the game, and he's sitting in the corner, hit about 10 in a row, moved out to the top of the arc, hit about 10 in a row, moved out to the logo, just started draining him, nothing but net. Like, he's still got it. Half shot will travel. He's just so good. I can't wait to see him play next year. I mean, we are in 2026, so let's just be real. Like, yes, it's the next season, but Damian Lillard will play this year. Just think about that for a second. Not this season, but he will play this year. In a month and a day that ends in the year of 2026, when you write the date, Damian Lillard will play. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Now, that's just going to add to the guard depth. Marcus chimes in that he'd love to see Scoop become a combo of Andre Miller and Baron Davis. And, Andre Miller is a good one, too, because he didn't have to score to impact the game. He was so good just passing the ball. Baron Davis was a scorer and big, athletic, could get to the rim. He could pass the ball too. So I see where you're going with the combo. But that's what I love about Scoot. And that's why I compare him a little bit to, like, I want him to be a Chris Paul, a Jason Kidd, a Steve Nash. Because those guys were all great in their own right. They could all score, but that's not how they needed to impact the game. It was through running the offense effectively. Steve Nash could pass like nobody's business. Chris Paul can pass the ball like nobody's business. Jason Kidd, great triple-double threat, could pass the ball wonderfully, just run the offense. And if the offense was bad, they'd start to score because they needed to. And I thought that's what made him special. Looking at the YouTube or the text line, got a Billy Ray Bates fan in there too when it comes to the former Blazers. And Abdel Nabi was in the house tonight as well. That is correct. Dude, correct me and make sure that we get that out there too. The Blazer legends, man. Come on back. Keep coming back. I like it. And it does. Because, it makes you do things like we did today. As corny as it was to make our fake Hall of Fame of Blazer players that you'd love to see come back and get an ovation, it's just one of those things that when you see Buck and you see Scotty and you get the 99-2000 team come in early in the year, those are the things that send you down memory lane. And then part of the reason, you just remember why you love Rip City so much at the end of the day. Because of, those guys and those memories. Someone in the chat mentioned Martell Webster. I loved watching Martell Webster. My personal nickname for him was Poetry in Motion because I absolutely loved his jump shot. Thought it was like poetry in motion. I loved Martell Webster. And some of us like the most random Blazers of all time. Oh yeah, say what you will about Ruben Boomche. That's one of my favorite Blazers of all time. I just loved watching it. It's just those little things. You get to go down memory lane when you get those former Blazers come back with big old smiles on their face and feeling the love. Scottie Pippen, you could tell, loved feeling the love. Zebo, Buck. I mean, I won't forget when the Western Conference Finals team came in, and they're announcing Mighty Mouse, and you have Greg Anthony, you have Stacey Augmon. They get to Brian Grant, and before Mark Mason can even spit his name out, it is like a standing ovation, and you can just see how emotional Brian Grant was. Because I think for some of these players, I'm going to be honest, they want to leave an impression. They want to have a legacy. And I don't know if all of them realize that even just a small step in Rip City is enough to leave a legacy. People will remember you. So when you can show that love and let the world know, yeah, we loved your time here repping Rip City, it's pretty powerful. As Keith chimes in, Wes Matthews. Yeah, we've been talking about that, Keith. Wes, you show him courtside, you pop on Iron Man, fans would go crazy. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. So yeah, I want every single Blazer legend that can to come on down, get their time, because it's pretty cool to see. Bringing in some coaches. You saw Terry Stotts. People like seeing Terry Stotts when he was in here with Golden State. It may have felt like it was time to go. We may have had to part ways, Terry, but man, did I love having you around for a few years because we had a good run. It's so cool. So cool. Oh, we got let's see. So Ala Abdanali had a story on the 76ers broadcast about how he used to drive his jet ski to practice? That's a story right there. Hey, I just gotta drive my jet ski up the Willamette and park it and go to practice. That's the stuff of legend. Thanks for sharing that one, Ryan, from listening to the 76ers broadcast. That is awesome. That is awesome, man. If the PF was down by the river and I lived by the river, I'd probably try to drive jet ski too. It's like, Coach, I'm here. No traffic. It's just beautiful. Like, I don't even have to go change them. I mean, I'm wearing my swim trunks. Bought special swim trunks. Don't even got pockets. Don't got to worry about catching my thumb when we're getting free runs. Like, I'm ready to go. Just got to lace them up. Like, the do not do list. Yeah, the NBA pro athletes have that, right? You can't ride skateboard. You can't get on your motorcycle. Apparently, you can't save time and ride your jet ski to practice, which is kind of funny, though, because the open water of the river, if it's a quick shot, maybe a little safer than getting on the freeway. I mean, realistically, right? I just like that story. I want to see this happen all the time. All the time. You miss Mike and Mike. Mike and Mike were great, but they were also stubborn guys. I remember one time, I'm coming out of the Blazers broadcasting down in the bowels of the building here. We used to host The Scoop, me and Jamie Hudson, and did it on our computer, just like I'm kind of doing here for YouTube, but it was all off the camera, all that. We had a little TV tray, and we go put it down courtside, and I go grab it. I have a TV tray. I have my camera in one hand. I have my laptop in another, and Mike Christ is in front of me, and he opens the door, and he turns and looks at me, sees me have all my stuff, and he just lets the door close instead of hold it open. I was like, Mike, like, what are you doing? Like, he just walks off. I'm just sitting there with all this stuff in my hand, looking like a goober, trying to open this door, and I'm like, oh my gosh, come on, Mike, what are you doing? Or like the Mike Rice-isms. I remember one time I'm watching a game, and they do they do an ad for a Blazers dancer calendar, or not calendar, like the posters that they have of every year. They have the poster of the team, they have the poster of the Blazer dancers, and Mike Barrett doing his professional thing. He's like, go get your next home game, first whatever fans it is, get the free Blazer dancer poster. And then you just hear Mike Rice go, huh, I'd like to be at that shoot. Like, what, Mike, what are you doing? Like, oh, guess what? They didn't call him the wild one for nothing. Like, oh man, those two were great. Those two were great. So that's another one. You know what? I'm glad you brought up Mike and Mike though for a second, because we were going down the road of players, right? Former players you want to go. There's other parts of that too. Like, if you put Mike Rice and Mike Barrett courtside and then showed them on the big screen, pretty sure Blazer fans would go crazy. Blazer fans would love it. And then you can do what you do with all the greats. Like, it'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't it be cool to listen to a game? You got KC, you got Lamar, and then they bring Mike and Mike on too. You got a four-man crew just going for a little bit, just shooting the breeze with just some absolute legends. I mean, Blazer fans are very fortunate. Kevin Calabro is one of the best to ever do this. And then you got Lamar, who's just a great color man. But Mike and Mike were great too. That'd be kind of fun to bring all those people back. Bring back Rebecca Harlow for a night, former sideline reporter before Brooke. She was in New York for a little while. She's out of the game. Think she retired. But man, that's just little things like that. So cool. Like I said, the stories, the connections, they're awesome. All right, that's going to do it, though, for this show. I'm tired. We're running way past the time. People were trying to mess with me tonight. I blame Chad. But we're going to get out of here. I got to rest up before we call some Hawaii Rainbow Warrior kayaking here on Rip City Radio in the near future. We're going to work on that. Final score, though, from Moda Center tonight. Portland Trailblazers 135. Philadelphia 76ers 118. Blazers win their third in a row. Very nice game for you, Trailblazers. This was an impressive win. I know there wasn't Joel Embiid and all that jazz, but there's talent on that team. Put it together. They flexed on them a little bit. Big time win. They won 3 in a row. They're now 26-28. They will be back in action on Wednesday. First game of a back-to-back, which is also an interesting one because we had the conversation about this earlier. People asking. I would suspect Scoot plays Wednesday, does not play Thursday, but Caleb Love is active on Thursday. So you probably get a little Caleb Love on then. And that might be the last time Scoot doesn't play in both games of the back-to-back, because then you get all-star break, you got start easing in things, and then I'll think he'll be good to go. But that would be something I'd watch for in those 2 games. That game on Wednesday against Minnesota tips off at 5 o'clock, which means I will have Blazers game day for you starting at 3. Once again, final score from Moda Center tonight. Your Trailblazers 135, the 76ers 118. We'll be back at it on Wednesday. Blazers game day starts your coverage at 3 o'clock. Until then, Rip City, I'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks, everyone, for listening. You were awesome. This was a great chat tonight. I'm glad that we went off the rails, had some fun, and, thanks, everyone. Marcus, thank you. You guys are awesome. No, I am your biggest fan. To my greatest fan, Johnny Cash. Johnny Cage. Not Johnny Cash. Johnny Cage. Mortal Kombat. Coach Radio Boy. Hawaii owns you. Good night.